So let's get straight to it with a refresher of how this all works. 81 teams will make it to regionals. 30 conference champions receive automatic bids, while another 51 bids will be handed out by the NCAA selection committee. Like we mentioned earlier, there will be 6 regional sites. Each site will host either 13 or 14 teams. The top 5 teams from each regional will advance to the NCAA tournament at Grayhawk at the end of May. In the Auburn Regional, the #1 seed is the #1 team in the country, the Vanderbilt Commodores. North Carolina will be the top seed in Salem. Big Ten champion Illinois is #1 in Bath, Michigan. Arizona State is the top seed in Las Vegas. Texas Tech headlines the Norman region, and Pepperdine stays out west and is #1 in Morgan Hill. Auburn. University Club is a private club that was founded in 1999 in conjunction with the city of Auburn and the university. Its championship course sits alongside Yarborough Lake in the eastern part of the state. And here are the teams that will be headed to Alabama. The top 3 teams, all from the Southeastern Conference: Vanderbilt, Tennessee, and the host school Auburn. A little farther down the list is the 4 seed Colorado State, a banner year for the Rams, who have only made 2 NCAA championship appearances in school history. Ohio State is the 5th seed. The Buckeyes are aiming for their 2nd straight appearance at Grayhawk. Now let's flash back to late October and the Eastlake Cup. The final match could very well be an NCAA championship preview between Vanderbilt and Arizona State. And with the match tied 2-2, Vandy's William Mole delivered the deciding point for the Commodores, making birdie on the 18th hole for a 1-up win. Mole, one of several top players for Vanderbilt. Their best player is sophomore Gordon Sargent. Sargent won the NCAA individual championship last season. He is the top-ranked player in golf stat this year and the 2nd-ranked amateur in the world. Last year, Vanderbilt lost in the NCAA semifinals to eventual champion Texas. And we still have 5 of our 6 regions to reveal. Let's head to Bath, Michigan, and located in the heart of the state is Eagle Eye Golf Club, which has a rolling link-style championship golf course. It has a signature island green on the 17th hole, similar to another Pete Dye-designed course at TPC Sawgrass. And here are the teams headed to Michigan. Illinois is the top seed. The 2 seed is Florida, champions of the SEC. The 3 seed are your defending champions, the Texas Longhorns. And it's been a transition year for John Field's team, but they are starting to peak as we begin May. The Oregon Ducks, out of the Pac-12, round out the top 4 seeds. And let's take a look at the #1 seed, Illinois, who are the Big Ten Conference champions for the 8th year in a row. Currently, the 3rd-ranked team in the country, according to GolfStat. The Illini have long had a pipeline for Belgian talent, like Thomas Dietrich and Thomas Peters. That continues this year with Adrien Dumont de Chassar, who has become one of the best players in the NCAAs. In Salem, South Carolina, all the way in the western corner of the state, not far from Clemson University, the Cliffs at Keowee Falls will play host. It's a Jack Nicklaus design. The course straddles Lake Keowe's shoreline and is surrounded by dense forests. And what a fall season for North Carolina. The Tar Heels beat a great field at the Ben Hogan Collegiate at Colonial Country Club, then went to Seminole Golf Club the following week and dominated the stroke and match play portion of the Stevens Cup, which included a 10-under 62 by sophomore David Ford during the stroke play portion of the event. Ford, just one part of a really strong Tar Heel roster. Austin Greaser is currently playing at the Wells Fargo Championship. This week, Dylan Minante won a championship 2 years ago with Pepperdine. Carolina is the 2nd-ranked team in the country, but they are coming off a disappointing showing at the ACC championships. They finished 6th in stroke play and failed to make the match play semifinals. The teams that will be headed to Salem along with the Tar Heels, the team that beat them at the ACC Championship, Georgia Tech, are the 2 seed. Texas A&M is the 3 seed. 4th seed, San Diego State, will have to make the cross-country trip to South Carolina. Georgia Southern is the 5 seed. They've advanced past regionals in 2 of the past 3 seasons. The host team is Clemson. They're the 9 seed, and Big South champion Longwood are in the regionals for the first time since 2007. The Las Vegas Regional, hosted by Bears Best, just a 20-minute trip from the Las Vegas Strip. It's another Jack Nicklaus design. Jack recreated the 18-hole course with a hodgepodge of holes from his other notable designs around the world. And the teams that will head to the Nevada desert: Arizona State, the top seed in the region, aiming to advance past regionals for the 8th straight year. Their Pac-12 rivals, Stanford, will join them in Vegas. Virginia will have to make the trek cross-country as the 3 seed. The Cavaliers, led by their outstanding freshman, Ben James. Oklahoma State is the 4th seed. They only have 1 win in the season, and that was the only time they finished better than 4th place at an event all year. And the NCAA tournament could be setting up perfectly for Arizona State. No one knows desert golf better than the Sun Devils, who are hosting the NCAA championships in Scottsdale. They are currently ranked 4th in the country. It's a deep team led by senior Riggs Johnston and sophomore Preston Summerhays. And the Sun Devils looking to make up for last season when they lost in the finals to Texas. Morgan Hill, California. It's the Institute Golf Club, one of the most exclusive courses in the country. It is also one of the longest courses in the state, just shy of 8,000 yards from the back tees. It's located off Highway 101, not far from San Jose. The top seed at Morgan Hill will be a California school with championship pedigree. The Pepperdine Waves are just 2 years removed from winning the national championship when they beat the Oklahoma Sooners 3-2 in the final. It was the 2nd national title for the program. The first came back in 1997. And 2 key members from the 2021 championship team are still playing for the Waves: senior William Mao and graduate student Derek Hitchner. Hitchner just won the individual title at the Western Intercollegiate while helping Pepperdine to the team title. The Waves then finished 3rd at the West Coast Conference Championship in Washington State. And here are the teams that will be competing at the Institute. Florida State will go from Tallahassee to California as the 2 seed. Mississippi State is the 3 seed. The Bulldogs will be shooting for their first NCAA championship appearance since 2008. Arizona is the 4 seed. They won their regional last year. A little further down the list is 8 seed BYU. The Cougars beat Pepperdine at the West Coast Conference Championship, and UNC Charlotte is the 11 seed. They punched their ticket by winning the Conference USA title. Speaking of Texas Tech, let's learn a little bit more about the Red Raiders, who are the #1 seed in the Norman Regional. Ranked 5th in the country, Ludwig Aberg is the leader of this team. He is a name that should be familiar to most golf fans, not only #1 in the PGA Tour University rankings. He has starts on the PGA Tour and the DP World Tour, and he's the #1 ranked amateur. Time to reveal our last region of the day. Let's head to Norman, Oklahoma, where we'll find the Jimmy Austin Golf Club at the University of Oklahoma, which dates all the way back to the early 1940s when it was used as a U.S. Navy recreational facility. Perry Maxwell then completed the course in 1951. It has hosted 6 previous regionals for the men and women. Here are the final teams in the field for this year's NCAA tournament. For the 2nd straight year, Oklahoma will get to play regionals at home. They are the 2 seed. A couple of SEC schools follow the Sooners. 3 seed is Alabama, while the 4 seed is Ole Miss. Then 2 schools from the ACC, Wake Forest and Duke. And how about the 12 seed Louisiana? They were ranked 145th in the country before a magical run at the Sun Belt Championship. The Ragin' Cajuns earned their first bid regional since 2012. There are a handful of players who will get to compete for the individual title, either 5 or 10 individual players per region. Let's start in Auburn. Alex Goff of Kentucky is in the region. You might remember Goff from the 2020 Blessings Tournament when he played the wrong ball on the final hole and still won despite the penalty strokes. Moving on to the student athletes heading to Salem, South Carolina, you see Central Florida's Johnny Trevally, who has been the Knights' scoring average leader for the past 2 seasons, and Seth Taylor from Coastal Carolina, who was just named to the All-Sun Belt Conference team. He had 3 runner-up finishes this season. Now, here are the players competing in the Bath Regional. Palmer Jackson of Notre Dame is one of the more accomplished players in the field. He already has 2 PGA Tour starts under his belt. He won the Jones Cup in 2022, and he's represented the United States at the Arnold Palmer Cup as well. And to the individuals playing in Norman, Oklahoma, cool story with Luke Gachewski from Iowa State. His father, Scott, played on the PGA Tour and just recently won on the Korn Ferry Tour. Now his son gets the opportunity to play in the NCAA tournament, as will James Swash of Louisiana Tech, who was the individual champion in Conference USA. Here are the players who will be making the trip to Vegas. Mac McClear of Iowa earned the automatic berth by being the co-medalist at the Big Ten Championships. That's his second career individual conference title. And UNLV's Caden Fiorini gets to compete down the road from his campus. He spent his first college season at Pepperdine. And finally, the individual players who will be competing in the Morgan Hill Regional. Jackson Rivera of Southern Cal caps off his sophomore season with a trip to the NCAAs. Riley Lewis of Loyola Marymount won the individual crown in the tough West Coast Conference. And Sacramento State's Casey Liebrick is ranked 622nd in golf stat. By winning the Big Sky Conference, he earned a spot in the Morgan Hill Regional.